entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Bernard, here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency, and this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Welcome to Tips, Topics, and Talk. I'm Paulette. I'm the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to your midday show with Brownstone Worldwide and me. We're going to be going over some news and information, of course, that you can use, some updates that you definitely should be aware of, and what's happening around the globe and locally. All right. Let's talk about a couple of things that you should absolutely know about. And let's go through some news that just hit the pipes a little bit. So we're talking about Apple is getting ready to start hiring 20,000 U.S. workers. That's a whole lot, y'all. Let's talk about that. So Apple announced this week that it plans to hire 20,000 U.S. research and development workers over the next 4 years and actually produce artificial intelligence servers domestically. Now, in its biggest U.S. commitment to date so far, the iPhone maker said it would spend $500 billion. I said with a B, $500 billion. Come on in this room, TikTok. Yes, I appreciate you. $500 billion in the country, including a new manufacturing facility in Houston for AI servers, as well as a Michigan supplier academy and extra spending on existing suppliers. So the move actually is coming because the tariffs on goods from China. So they got to do something, right? They're going to start moving things here into the States, just as Honda and Toyota are like, we out. We going back over across the seas because it's costing us more money to do what we need to do. Hey, Miriam, come on in this room. Good afternoon. Welcome to Tips, Topics, and Talk. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm doing a sit down approach today. Trying to still get used to this new schedule that we have. But we've been talking, if you missed this morning's show, the day shift, we've been talking about what happened over the weekend. We're going to review that. I'm good, doing well. Being a little bit more strategic with my time. We're going to talk about that today too. Okay. When in terms of Money Mondays and all the things. So thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate you for that. So listen, we're talking about the tariffs. We're going to be digging a little bit deeper into that. So Houston announced, not Houston, but Honda and Toyota actually have announced that they're making plans to literally start closing down. It is not concrete, but they're considering closing down their plants, their manufacturing plants here in the US of A, because the tariffs are 25% tariff on goods that are coming in from other countries. And these are goods that are needed in order to build out the vehicles that they have. So that's a huge problem because Honda and Toyota both have facilities in sit down, Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama. And that's just three that I can name off the top of my head, right? So what we're looking at is people who are probably going to start seeing a slowdown in either work, or they're going to start seeing things pack up. And here Apple is saying that we're going to be hiring 20,000 US workers. And the biggest reason why they're doing it is because amid new tariffs, they're like, nah, we need to do everything here in the country. And so they're going to be investing $500 billion in the country, including a new manufacturing facility for Houston, in Houston, for AI servers. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You could definitely see how well that's going to go. So let's see how that turns out for people, right? So once again, if you are new here, welcome to Tips, Topics, and Talk. This is your midday show where we talk about more news, more information that you can use coming from Brownstone Worldwide and from around the globe from news sources that you probably have learned about and some that you didn't. So federal layoffs could weigh on spending. You think? See, this is when I get to do my commentary and be more of myself. Like, what did y'all think was going to happen? Like, you laying off all of these people and you didn't think for a minute that that was not going to impact businesses and companies and stores and retailers. So wondering what recent job cuts at the federal government will signify for the U.S. economy? We ain't got to. We already knew. We already knew what he was going to do, right? So the government actually employs approximately 2.4 million people, equal to about 1.5% of non-farm jobs. Now, that's according to the Wall Street Journal. So I always do that, and I always say according to, because the research has already been done. So when I make my notes and I'm looking at them, I'm scrolling through, because I've had people come in here, prove it, do this, do that. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start sharing the direct link from the research that has been done so you all can shut up. Okay? For those people who are law students, you know who you are. Love you. Bye. Okay, so far it has cut about 30,000 jobs per JP Morgan Chase data, a small figure compared with an average of 237,000 jobs that were actually added monthly recently. Yet experts worry about knock-on effects as Americans could grow nervous about their jobs and cut back on spending. But it's not just about that, because we're looking at all of the moving parts and pieces of everything else that's happening. So let's look at some other factors, right? So let's look at the tariffs. That's 25% on goods, okay? We're also looking at the fact that people are making decisions to shop not as much with big box retailers for their own reasons, be it, say, for instance, they've stopped shopping at Walmart, they've stopped shopping at Aldi and Home Depot and Hobby Lobby and all of these places that have paid into the current administration in large amounts. And so people are making a decision on where they're going to spend their dollars. And so what we're seeing is not only just the federal layoffs that could weigh in on spending. It's like, I'm making a decision. I'm not going to spend my money over there. I'm not going to spend my money over here. But not only that, I'm also going to be more conscious on where I spend my money, because I've got 25% tariffs I need to be worried about. And don't think that it's not going to hit you. Did you hear about this? So our egg source is coming from Turkey, folks. Did you go to the grocery store and notice that you got eggs now? It's not because they're coming from the US. They are being shipped from Turkey. So right now they're looking at adding an additional 300 million eggs to what we currently have right now, because they still haven't figured out how to combat the bird flu. So our eggs are officially imported. If y'all don't go get you some chickens and put them in a cage in the back, listen, I mean, like, are we gonna have to pay a tariff on the eggs? I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, I'm being very serious. Like, that's a thing. Are you concerned yet? So your eggs, shame we have to get eggs from another. I know, right? I get my eggs from my neighbor. I live in Los Angeles. So you live in LA. So that's where you get your eggs from. So that's pretty cool. Now there are some people, there's a couple of people not far from me that have like 75, maybe, 30 chickens. She's called the Chicken Whisperer. And she's local to the area where I live in Georgia. And she she breeds chickens and she has a ton of eggs. And so you can go pick them up. But honey, by the time I go pick up eggs, ain't none, because you know what I mean? Yeah. And I do too. I live in the suburbs. And so there's this girl. Gosh, what is her name? My goodness. And I interviewed her too. But anyway, so she literally has this brood of chickens, and she taught us so much about chickens, like why chickens are white as opposed to brown. Chicken eggs are white as opposed to brown. Well, they're really not white. They are bleached. And then they are let out, right? So eggs can come in different colors, but they're bleached, so they're all uniform and they look pretty. But the issue with that is when they are bleached, they look cute, but you got to refrigerate them. If they're not bleached and they remain the color that they are, you do not have to. They do not have to. Somebody's over here shaking their head. Oh God, I don't need no more news. No more news. No more bad news. Oh my God, I can't take it. All right. Anyway, so brown eggs, or maybe those light blue eggs, or like gray colored eggs. Yeah, so it's a true fact. She said you do not have to refrigerate those. It's the white eggs. So when you leaving your eggs out and you think it's cute because you saw it on Pinterest and stuff like that, and it's a white egg, don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. Those have to be refrigerated because there's nothing to protect that outer shell that has been removed because of the bleaching. Okay, that was stuff I didn't know. I had no idea. And I learned that there are different kinds of chickens, and who the roosters are and who the hens are and so forth. And they have like their own little community, and that cackling that you hear that cackling of hens, they're literally talking to each other. I saw some of them mating and all of that. It was the craziest thing I had ever seen. And so she gives away eggs. There's a guy down the street that does it as well. Like he has like this little chicken house, and he says free eggs. You can come and pick them up anytime that you want to. But again, by the time I literally drove there before I went live to see if there were any eggs, and they were already gone for the day. So there's that. But yeah, we're getting our eggs from Turkey. So there's that. Best, listen, tell them, would you tell them they are the best eggs ever, y'all. Listen, I need to, where's my other, so I can't, yeah, the best eggs ever because they seem richer. I don't know for you, Miss California, I don't know if you've noticed that they're richer, or the yolks, that's what I'm talking about. They're richer. It seems creamier, like it has a different something to it that makes them better as opposed to the ones that are bleached. But yeah, so most definitely you want to make sure that you're getting you some good local eggs. And years ago, my uncle, may he rest in peace, my Uncle Richard, this true story, he kept chickens and goats and right. So when I was a little girl, we would go in the backyard and go play, and all my cousins and stuff. And we were living in Milwaukee at the time, but he was as country as they come, and he kept chickens. Now I know why. Oh yes. So let's talk about something that someone sent me in an inbox. That kind of blew my mind, and I was highly disappointed in seeing it. So there's an actual video that is going around social media of a young boy. He ain't even a man, honey. He ain't even a teenager. I think his voice is just now starting to crack. And there's about 7 or 8 little boys, maybe 13, 14 years old. And they're all sitting around on a couch, and you can see like maybe he's getting ready to turn 14, like there's a 4 above him, and they're sitting on piles of dollar bills, like literally hundreds of dollar bills. And lo and behold, on the floor before them is a professional dancer. I'll put it like that. I want to be careful of the words that I choose. I'm in love with a stripper. Yes, honey. And she, and when the video was shared with me, I made a decision not to share the video. I did screenshot it, and I put like happy faces all over her body, except her face and her feet. And the little boys, there were a couple you could tell were disgusted. Like you could see on their face, they was like, ugh, and she literally was as explicit as they come. And again, these were children. And here's the thing. The people that were recording it were the parents. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Y'all let that sink in. So the people that were recording it were the adults. They had given them the money, and this was a gift to this young man, I guess, as a rite of passage into adulthood, because you looking like you might just now be 14. For them to bring in this scantily clad woman who had like a string around her waist and nothing else. And she performed in front of these little boys. Yeah. Absolutely. She did that. And I was absolutely disgusted. Let me tell you why. Number one, these are babies. These are babies. That doesn't mean, because let's be clear, I have a son. I'm not stupid. Okay. But there is a time and a place for you to teach your sons and your daughters about specific things. And that was not the time. They should have been at Dave & Buster's playing games. They should have been opening gifts, but yet and still, this is the gift that you give your son, right? And here's where I have my issue. Every parent, every adult, even the one that was doing the performing, should be picked up and locked up. If those were young girls, exactly, you don't need this exposure so young, not at all. If these were young girls that were being given this as a gift to see a male, anybody come and dance in front of them with no clothes on, we would have had the laws in full effect before the party even got started good. Period. We need to stop having a double standard for our children. Our men, our men and women, and our daughters and our sons should all be treated equally. If you're going to hold one group accountable, if you're holding men accountable for their poor behavior with our daughters and our underage girls, you need to hold our women accountable as well. Period. Locked up. I don't care. Throw it away. It was so explicit. I could not believe that it was circulating social media. I'm surprised I haven't seen it on TikTok. And nobody's talking. I even shared it on my social media. I'm not going to share it here on TikTok. Not going to do it, but I shared it on my social media. 2 responses. I want to know what you think. How many of you all are sitting at home going, yeah, that's good. Go ahead and teach your son how to be a man, XYZ. Let's break them in. No, no. Then you're not saying that about your daughter. What are we doing? Are we teaching our sons that it's okay? Not that part, not in this house. When my son turned 14, we went to Dave & Buster's. And we went to the bouncy house. And I took a group of his friends. That's what we did. And they had a ball. They had a blast. Let me tell you what my son was doing last night. He is preparing for the SATs. So he's studying on his own. And then after he studies on his own, then he edits. Then once he's done with that, he puts his headphones on and he gets into his PlayStation and they all go live together and laugh and talk and kiki. He's 17. And he's preparing to graduate. You have a son? 24? Yeah, my baby is 20. He's 17. He's graduating this year. My oldest, oh my God, today. That's another story. But I'm proud of her. Let's just say that. She'll be 35 this year. I can't believe I'm saying that. Let me take this hat off and show y'all these grades, okay? But anyway, yeah, she'll be 35 this year, and she is a professional photographer. She told me today, big shout out to her, that she is getting her own studio. So she's going to go look at it today. I'm proud of her. Hey, Deborah, come on in this room on Facebook. So are you seeing? Yeah, did he really? Okay, well, big ups to him. So listen, when we are having these conversations about our daughters, and we're saying that this is inappropriate for them, we ought to be doing the same and holding ourselves accountable for how they are being done. Those babies, clearly, some of them were highly traumatized. They They was doing like this, like, and then throw the money. And there was somebody instructing them to throw the money at her. I couldn't believe it. We have such an air of double standard in this community. We tell our daughters, this is what we tell our daughters. Yes, they was throwing money, girl. Listen, do you see how thick this was? This what? Look, do y'all see? Look, that wasn't enough. Do you see that stack? That wasn't enough. It was so many dollar bills around those little boys, and they just had stacks and just ones, and they was throwing at her, you know. And that's okay. This clearly, she was a grown woman. She had to be in her early 30s. Grown woman dancing in front of these little boys. Couldn't have been no more than one of them I know couldn't have been any older than 12. But that's what we want to teach our children, that there is still a double standard. We are asking for equality. We want people to respect us in the world, but we won't do that for ourselves in our own community. And it is mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. But this is the same community that says it's okay for us to be impacted by the uncle that we won't hold accountable. Ooh, I said that. No, I just said, ooh. All right, let's get back into this news and information. That was my commentary. That was my talk for the day. Yes, honey, I still cannot believe that. All right, so large layoffs are getting ready to hit Starbucks. Y'all ready for this? Yes, you have to, honey, because if I don't, who will? We so scared nowadays. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna come to my house? Is that what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna come in my office and reprimand me? You can't, because I don't care. Right's right, like my mother used to say, and it don't wrong nobody. How about that? Okay, let me fix my camera. Okay. Yeah, my mother used to say that all the time. Right's right, and it don't wrong nobody. Now I completely understand exactly what she meant. Cafe vibes and revamped menus may not be enough for the new CEO, Brian Niccol of Starbucks. The problem is it's not enough to right the ship at Starbucks, okay? Now, the coffee chain actually said on Monday that it's going to start laying off 1,100 corporate employees and leave several hundred open positions unfilled in a bid to become leaner and more focused. Cafe staff, as well as those who work in Starbucks roasting, manufacturing, and distribution divisions, will not be affected by the layoffs, which are among the largest rounds of cuts in Starbucks history. And that's according to Wall Street Journal. Did y'all hear what I just said? Starbucks. So I'm going to put my business out there. So when I first got laid off from my corporate job, all my friends, all my coworkers, they were migrating over to Starbucks. And it was a big deal. Everybody wanted to work at Starbucks because, first of all, let me just keep it 100. In the industry that I'm in labor law and labor relations, and human resources, fat dollars, good money. So everybody was headed over there. And I was like, okay, they had like 3 or 4 different positions open, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and apply too, because everybody got hired from the department that I was in the company that I came from. They didn't hire me. They did not hire me. Well, the word started to hit. So I started hearing about a month ago that this new CEO was coming, because all my friends still work at Starbucks on the corporate side. And they were like, yeah, they're getting ready to do a bunch of laying off and so forth. And this, that, and the third. What? Well, here we are. So sometimes, and let me tell you something, I continued to keep applying. Hey, Joy, come on in this room. I continued to keep applying for these jobs at Starbucks, even after it was clear that they were not going to hire me. right? And I kept saying, well, I got this background in labor relations. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna keep applying. Now look at this. This is the reason why I wasn't getting hired, because they're getting ready to lay off 1,100 corporate employees. Sometimes God is setting you up to not be further disappointed than you already are. He's like, okay, you don't think I'm protecting you right now, but I'm protecting you. And now I understand and I see why, because it's hit national news. Here we are. This is what we're talking about right now, right? Starbucks is getting ready to start laying off. And I guarantee you, I know some of the people that they're going to hit first. Okay. Because with this restructuring that he wants to do, it's absolutely going to hit the department that I was trying to get into. I'm just saying. So everything is not for you, even though you think it is. And my mother used to always say, well, you'll understand after a while. It might not look like it's for your best interest, but it honestly and really is. So sometimes we should pay attention to our elders, right? Pay attention to the wise counsel. I didn't say it felt good. It didn't feel good. But now I see. All right. Now let's talk about y'all ready for this one? Are you sitting down? Like we didn't know this, but let's talk about this. U.S. economy is reliant on the rich. You think? And still building more Starbucks. Actually, what they're doing is they're rebuilding the inside of them and making them more like what they used to be back in the day, when you could go and sit down. You know how you notice, like when you go into a Starbucks. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that out. When you go into a Starbucks now, you literally have nowhere to really sit. It's cold. It seems a little drab in there. Remember when Starbucks first opened, it was the premier place to go, almost like a Barnes & Noble. Remember how warm and inviting Barnes & Noble used to be? And they had the huge lounge. The reason why I got a lounge chair in my boudoir to this very day with the settee in front of it, like, so it has like the little cushion that sits in front of it, and I have this huge lounge chair, is because I was trying to come up with that vibe. Okay. And it was because I was literally trying to evoke that same experience that I got from being at a Barnes & Noble all day on a Saturday, right? When the sun was out and it was beautiful and we didn't have nothing to do and I didn't want to hang out downtown Atlanta. We would go and hang out at Barnes & Noble and read all of the books and buy books and drink coffee and have cheesecake. Seriously. And it would be Cheesecake Factory slices, y'all. Well, anyway, so what they're trying to do to stop the oozing that Starbucks is experiencing from a monetary perspective is to continue to trim the fat and to bring back the people that they said that they didn't want in the building, no way. And those are people that wanted to use the bathroom for free. So now the rule is that if you want to use their restroom or their other public facilities, then you'll have to purchase something in order to do that. Well, I thought that was the rule anyway, because they weren't just giving out the Wi-Fi back then. You had to pay and then they would give you the Wi-Fi access. But, what do I know? What do I remember? The U.S. economy is in a potentially precarious position, having become unusually reliant on rich Americans, according to the Wall Street Journal. Okay, as working and middle-class households struggle to keep up with inflation, spending by the top 10% of earners has soared to account for almost 50% of all spending and nearly 1/3 of gross domestic product. Experts are actually worried that if stock or home values decline and the wealthy cut back, the economic impacts could be significant. You think? And I need people to kind of gain some clarity on this. I still say that some of this has everything to do with people's decision to cut back because of some of the things that they value, like diversity, like equity, like inclusion, like accessibility, right? There are some of those things that are still important to American people. I'm just saying, but again, what do I know? So for those of you all who are new here, I'm Paulette. I'm the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide. You are watching Tips, Topics, and Talk with me, your girl Paulette. That's what I used to be known as back in the day when I was on radio full time. But here we are. And I have decided to just continue to keep giving you news and information that you can use, because you definitely gonna need it. Because some of y'all have decided that you're gonna put your head in the sand and you just gonna trust and believe that when you open your eyes again, that everything is gonna be all right. And while we are believing that, the entire structure and fabric of what we know as the US of A is slowly unraveling in front of our eyes. And I need you all to hear me on this, that is happening in real time. While we playing and while we're tap dancing, some serious issues and things are happening right now. I need to find my notes because I don't believe y'all think fat meat greasy. Did y'all hear about what happened at the Jimmy Carter library here? Let's talk about that. So I'm in Atlanta, and Jimmy Carter, may he rest in peace, has a facility here that is open to the public to be used for book signings and stuff like that. It's a beautiful facility. And they get some of their funding from the government. It's a nonprofit organization. And so a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have annual events and stuff like that. Brownstone Worldwide gets invited every year, twice a year, to their events. We go out and help support and bring our team with us and stuff like that, and enjoy a beautiful performance and activities. And then we do roundtables to kind of talk about some of the issues and concerns in the local Atlanta community. And then they tell us, that, if you want to come back, here's what's available. These are the hours for the library and so forth. Well, they do book signings and book readings. Well, guess what? Three book signings have been canceled because they're all about things like homelessness. One is about the civil rights movement. One of the other books I forgot, I believe, is about women's rights. Don't quote me on that, but I know for sure one, her name is Ellen Weiss. She's written a book about what was happening in the 50s for Black folks to gain the right during Jim Crow era to pass the test necessary for them to vote. And they talk about it in this book. Well, she was told by her publicist from Simon & Schuster that they were told, you can't do it. You are not allowed to do it because it was not approved by the Trump administration. Now, the interim administrator, or the person who has the authority to make those decisions right now, is Marco Rubio. Okay? I need y'all to hear me on this, because you remember the National Archives, that they shut it down, right? They got rid of the head of the National Archives, and Marco Rubio is the interim president for that right now. Okay, so she doesn't know what she has to do, what the rules are, but this is a very slippery slope, folks, that we're on when we're talking about not having the ability to do what we were told we could do, which is our very First Amendment right, which is the freedom of speech and the right to assembly. You just said that I need the Trump administration's approval to go public with this book in a facility that gets funding. So what kind of books are we going to be able to read? This is why I do these lives. This is why I provide as much information that I can pull and glean, and information that you all are sharing with me, because I need you all to understand that even though we have Brownstone Living Magazine and we've got Cityscape Radio and we're about the entertainment and the podcasting and all of that, and there are actual real people in the neighborhood. It's not just me. There's a team. I want you all to understand that I am sharing this information with you because you all need to know what's happening right now in this country. Because I've heard from you, and you are saying, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to know about it. And you're going to wake up, baby, and your rights are going to be gone because you closed your eyes and your ears, because you made a decision not to be proactive and share this information. There is not much I can do except share my voice. And God gave me a big old mouth. That's the one talent I have. If I don't have nothing else, I can open my mouth and I can tell it. And I can tell it with impact. If you are not careful, while we are living in these soft girl eras, I am not, Cutter. No, they need to get themselves together. Mm-mm. Human Talk is doing a lot right now, and I need them to work that out. I need them to work that out. No, ma'am. I would not be going to the Human Talk mixer. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But I need us even in that. So let's talk about that really quick before I wrap it up. Okay. Even in that, one of the things that I know to be important and to be real is the fact that Human Talk literally is a virtual community. It is an imaginary HBCU. It ain't even historically, okay, because you got to make some history first. But in the history that they made was a group of folks got together and wanted to learn, and it was supposed to be a way for people to continue to learn, right, through all of these professors and people who were actually educators and people who had, and then all of a sudden somebody said, no, I want to take it over, and then somebody else was like, no, see, I got an issue with that, because it's always us can't get together and pull stuff together. You should have shut. Then somebody was trying to trademark it, and somebody else was trying to do this and do it, and then somebody else found out that it wasn't a white woman that was doing it; it was a sister. Like nobody was going to do their research to find out that you was trying to monetize it, and you were trying to take it over so that nobody could use the name but you. That's a hot mess, and all people wanted to do was learn. Now they're still out there and they're still teaching and they're still doing the thing. I had actually registered for classes. The website, I understand, is still up, but no, it's too much going on. I need them to work that out first, and then I'll be happy to support. And she quit her job. Yes, she did. She quit her job for an imaginary company. Lay the groundwork first, folks. A lot of people always say to me, a perfect example is a conversation I had last night. What do you need? How can I support XYZ? It was awesome, great conversation. What do we need to do to move things along? I need more time. I need time. So I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning so that I can do what I need to do here and then focus on the rest of my day. Because Brownstone Worldwide, the numbers are proving that it's the numbers show there's growth happening, and not just on TikTok, right? Because contrary to popular belief, it's growing. And so I looked and I said, oh, I would love to quit my job. I have one, but I'm nobody's fool either, because I got kids in college. I got one in college and I got one that's getting ready to go. Guess what they need? Health insurance. The biggest reason why I keep the gig that I have at night is because my kids need health insurance while I build this company. I wished I would do something. And I get it. I understand the impact of what I do, right? But I also understand that the impact of what I do encompasses not just me, but other people, my children, my mortgage, my insurance, my car note, which I don't have one, but you see what I'm saying? Food, keeping the money separate from the business and my personal funds. Looking at the numbers, seeing if it's worth it to make a move right now. I literally looked at my table, my dining room table where I'm sitting at right now. And I said, wow, these are a lot of computers, a lot of devices. And then I counted how many desks we have in the house and how much equipment we got. We got a camera over here. We got cameras over there. We got lights and microphones and all of this stuff. And I said, dog, it sure would be nice to get a facility. I live in a community where they make movies. Y'all don't even hear me. They make literally 5 blocks away from me. They shoot a lot of Lifetime movies here because of how quaint the town is where I live. They shoot Marvel movies here. They shot the Avengers here, all of that, right? So guess what's here? Studio space. Tons of it. I wish I would move. This is my studio space right here. We turned the garage into studio, into a podcasting area. My whole desk, everything is back there. I'm telling all my truth because I'm nobody's fool. I will stay here until it grows. It's what makes sense. It's what makes sense. How you quit your, don't get me started. Don't cut it, right? Don't quit your day job. Don't quit your job until you see the exponential growth and set a goal for yourself. How much money do you need to make every month in order to do this, right? I'm just, so thank you for that. I wasn't planning on going down that rabbit hole. But if you want more news and information, head on over to brownstoneworldwide.com. We'll be providing you with more news, updates, information, and sales. We're going to be sharing with you the secondhand embarrassment I feel. Girl, yes. Like, what are you doing? Or as I would really like to say, what is you doing? You know, but to each his own. I'm not doing it. And let me just be clear. There are days that I want to wrap it up and I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I really don't want to say, oh my God, I just want to focus on this full time. I know I don't have yeah. Am I muted? I hope not. But anyway, so here we go. If you want more news and information and updates, am I muted now? Can you hear me? Thank you so much. I don't know why I'm muted. Let me see. You can't? I don't know why. Oh, you can hear. Let me go out first. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay, great. So listen, y'all, I will be back tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you. Great. Excellent. 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 All right. So this is what we're going to do. I have to wrap up because I got other things to do. And then, of course, like I said, I got a night job. I'm going to go clock in. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. More news, more information. I'm getting ready to have my meeting with my folks about Brownstone Living Magazine for the month of March. And it's for Women's History Month, y'all. Women's History Month. So our topics for the month are your marching orders. And also, y'all get it, your marching orders. And again, we have the one and only Aisha Taylor Issa of the Sister Shop, SISTAH shop.com, who is on the cover. You might have actually seen her. She went viral when Neo DeViso and some other brothers and sisters here in the city of Atlanta went to her Midtown store in droves and purchased a ton of stuff out of the store to help keep her doors open. Well, I had an opportunity to sit down with her and find out what her next moves are. And I am so excited for her to be the cover of our Women's History Month issue of Brownstone Living Magazine. So listen, head on over to brownstoneworldwide.com. We're going to be giving you some of the sales because, of course, I went to running around. We're going to be sharing some of that because I like to do that because I like to shop, okay? So I get to pick. So Old Navy, we got Woot, we got Wayfair, all of that stuff that we're going to be talking about on Brownstone Worldwide. Head on over there now, get some of that news and updates and information that you might have missed this morning from the day shift. And I will see you all tomorrow on another amazing episode or show called What? The Day Shift. I'll see you all tomorrow. In the meantime, for those of you all on all of our other platforms, you're going to go ahead and listen to Brownstone Worldwide. Yes, we got a theme song, y'all. You want to hear it? Here it go.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Fernell. Here to entertain and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Bernard. Here entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.